Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Throat Punch Lunch. Episode 9, The End is Nigh. What end am I talking about? Is it the end of the show? No, not even close. I'm talking about the end of the convention season. It's almost here. The convention season is really great. We get to travel a lot. We get to meet a lot of great people. We get to do a lot of really awesome things. But it is very exhausting sometimes, especially being away from family and all that kind of stuff. It really kind of wears on you after a while. And so I'm looking forward to the end of the convention season, getting back to normal, so to speak. We've got BGG Con coming up here in a little bit, and I'm looking forward to that too. But I'm glad that it's a little bit more of a low-key convention for us. Anyway, without all of that, I've got a great episode lined up for you. We have a whole lot of contributors that signed on for this episode. We've got 11 segments for you. My two segments, Accessorize and Canvas, are going to take a hiatus because I didn't need to do them this week, which is a really cool thing. I've been riding pretty low this summer about with contributors and stuff like that. So I'm really enjoying the fact that I've got a couple of new segments for you. One on solo gaming, and then another one on it's called The Latest Retro, talking about this episode. He's talking about miniature gaming on the go, which is kind of cool actually. So that's pretty cool. Marty's going to be talking about miniatures as well from his own little quirky, funny way. So that's going to be cool. I've got a great episode. I've watched all of the segments already, of course, and I enjoyed every single one of them. So I hope that you do too. So without further ado, let's get to it.
Sam, ever since finishing that series on how to enhance your board games through different senses, I'm really kind of fresh out of ideas. I'm not sure exactly what to do. I mean, there are already other people doing segments for the show about how to play games or how to paint miniatures or how to assemble miniatures. So I'm kind of, Hey, Sam, I think I got an idea. I'm going to have to go. I'll talk to you later. No, I got to go. I'll talk to you. I got to go. Got to go. Yeah. I'll see you on the flip side, whatever that means. Whenever a new board game comes out with miniatures, it seems to generate a lot of buzz. The larger the minis, the more you have, and the better the detail, the bigger the hype. But why? What is it about miniatures and board games that get people excited? I'll share the reasons for my excitement in this installment of Face Up, Center of the Table. Miniatures and board games are nothing new. They've been in various board games for decades, but recently the ability to manufacture higher quality and cheaper minis has helped generate an influx of games that are full of little plastic figures. Prime example, Cool Mini or Not, who is now known as CMON, but I wanted to reference them as Cool Mini or Not, since this is a segment about minis, but maybe you didn't know that the M in CMON stood for minis, which is really kind of how they got their start. Anyway, when CMON first released Zombicide, gamers were as gaga over the minis as they were the game itself. But how could you not be when looking at the Kickstarter, seeing all the miniatures that you'll get with your pledge? Since then, CMON has been known for creating thematic games that has lots of really nice looking miniatures to use during the game. Many other companies have also followed suit. But again, what is the appeal? For me, it helps when I can see a 3D representation of the world that I'm playing in. So when I see art on the card or in the rules in actual physical form, it helps me get more engaged with them. Also, I love toys, and ever since I was a kid, I enjoyed playing with toy figures. From Green Army Men to G.I. Joe to Star Wars figures to figures that I won't even take out of the box for fear that they might be worth something someday. Well, now I can play with my toy figures in the board games, which just helps spark imagination as I play. For example, you may battle against a character whose figure is twice as big as yours, and that just adds to the excitement if you're able to defeat that character. Your classic board game components such as meeples and cubes just can't create that same experience. I mean, imagine if regular toy figurines use those same basic components.
Happy birthday!
What is this?
It's Star Wars figures. It's Darth Vader, Princess Leia, and R2-D2.
Are you kidding me?
Here's the thing, when you think of games with miniatures, typically what may come to mind are some of the games from CMON or Imperial Assault or Descent or Mansions of Madness, all of which are Ameritrash games. But what is cool is to see games with Euro elements start to include miniatures. Games such as Blood Rage, Scythe, and Cry Havoc are thematic games with Euro mechanics, but they also include great miniatures which just enhances the theme even more. I mean, come on, wouldn't you rather fight against this than this? But don't be thinking miniatures make a game good. While more and more games are incorporating miniatures, that doesn't make the gameplay better. For example, I had the fortune of being able to play prototypes of Blood Rage and Cry Havoc before any miniatures were finalized. They were great games with just basic components, but the nice miniatures just made the experience so much better. Adding nice miniatures to a game just makes it look more exciting on the table. They add a tactile and visual element to the game that you don't get with meeples or cubes, and it helps open up your imagination to the world that you're playing in. So a question for you, which board game makes the best use of miniatures in order to enhance its theme? Let me know in the comments.
I want to know what happened to the plans they sent you.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a member of the Imperial Senate on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take it away!
Hello, it's day one of AirCon, which is a 2-day convention in Bradford, and we are cracking on with our first game of the day, and it is Avenue. Laura's doing the rules, so it's probably wrong. Look at the face. So basically, Avenue is apparently like Doodle City, but better. Now, I've not played Doodle City, but I have played Quest, which is a similar sort of game. So we'll crack on with it, and the boys will tell you their thoughts of the game after, yeah? Yeah. So we've just finished playing Avenue, and Laura won, as per usual. I came second with 23, so that's not too bad. You got 17 and George got 7, which is a really good effort, George. What did you think of the games, Ben?
I thought it was really, really stressful because I just found out.
I told you at the beginning. That was the first thing I told you. One section of road.
I did pause for some odd reason.
You're not supposed to do that though, are you? Because how many pieces of road are in a square?
One. Really, really fun, but it can be stressful about the fact that sometimes you have to mess up your map because you don't need to. You have to draw it anyway.
Yeah, no, there is that. And once you've sort of drawn yourself into a corner, and then you go to a different farm, sometimes you can't do anything about it. So it's kind of like, it's definitely about sort of future planning, because you have to think where you're going to go in the future and how not to sort of draw yourself into a corner.
You randomly draw the farm.
You randomly draw the farms. Yeah, exactly. So, George, what did you think of the game?
I liked it. It was all like, I need to get there. Go plot this out. I can't get there.
So you thought that was fun, yeah?
And then you just like, I need to get up there, but it's taken up there. It's taken down there.
So you like that?
Yeah, it's taken down there. I can't go anywhere.
You like the stressfulness of that, but you found that fun. Okay then.
Together, you realise it's not even legal because you've missed half of the connections, so it already falls the bits before it even got off the takeoff pad.
That's the fun bit.
Explain why it's good.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you
I
haven't
want
got
that bit. You're not having that anymore.
Yeah, but you have not got time to tell what other people need. You've only got something like
because when they put it, they pick it up. I can't have it. Right, I'll put it there. Right, I'm having that.
You can see them gradually edging pieces towards their ship, and you're like, thanks very much.
It's just the decision making on the cards that people take too long over.
I do admit this trading bit is a little flat. They kind of stopped dead at that point. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Okay. I agree with that. I agree with that one. Yeah. Serious point.
I'll agree with this whole point. Yeah.
Luke agrees with something excellent. Right.
It happens.
So number 2 on my list of games that I like that most people don't is Munchkin.
So your sole purpose here is just to enrage the rest of the cast.
It's sort of in line with everything else that everyone else hates.
No, I actually do like Munchkin. I think it's got a time and a place.
Absolutely.
The time is probably never, let's be honest. And the place in the bin. Done. Thank you, guys.
Hey everyone, this is Tim Jeanette the Metal Meeple, and this is the Miniature Breakdown. So at Gen Con this year, I picked up some models for a game called Arena Rex. It's a small skirmish game, which we're going to talk about in a later episode, but right now I'm going to show you how to pin these together. Pinning is the act of drilling a hole into both pieces that you're going to glue together and inserting a rod in between them, similar to how rebarb is in concrete. It just strengthens the joint and it'll make the model last longer as you play with it. So let me show you what you need to do so. Okay, so here we have our model that we want to pin together. Now the reason we want to pin him together is because you can see this little flat piece will connect to this flat piece, and that's a little bit uncomfortable for me. It's not so much with a resin model like this one, but if it was pewter, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that staying like that without having any kind of reinforcement. So what you're going to need is rods. These are Gale Force 9 rods. There's a thick one and a very thin one that bends a lot. And they sell it in a pack of a bunch of rods. It's gf9.com. There's alternate ways that you can get rods, however, such as paper clips. If you have paper clips of various sizes, you can bend these out and use some, pliers and such to kind of straighten them. And then you have like instant rods. You can see how I've already straightened some of these over here from paper clips. Also, if you have some coat hangers, like the metal wire coat hangers, you can clip those apart and use those as the really thick ones. And obviously, the last thing you're going to need is a pin vise. And this pin vise will take a drill bit, really small drill bits. You can see here, it takes all these small drill bits. You find the one that matches the size of the rod that you're using, and then you can hold the bottom of it and spin the top parts. And you just push it into the model and drill a hole, which I'll show you in a minute. Now, what I like to do is put the drill bit into the pin vise just well enough to where I know how far into the model I'm going to go, such as that, which looks really good. I've already drilled a hole in the other piece here, and it's pretty much getting almost there. So let's drill a hole in this and see what happens. I've already pre-marked a little bit of where we need to be. This is a little bit different to do it on camera, but whatever. Biggest thing about this is to take your time. You don't want to put too much pressure on one end because you might be holding a piece of the model that you don't want to break or anything like that. Anyway, we've got our hole. So now what we want to do is use a little piece of rod here. So always test fit these first because you don't know if the rod's going to be too long or anything. Which it looks like I probably need to drill a little bit more into the leg. Now it should be good. There we go. Pretty good fit. Now I'll probably green stuff around the gap just to make it look a little bit more pretty. But essentially you just glue those together and that's going to strengthen that leg and that piece, and it works really well on things like hands that are really tiny. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions or comments, please email me at timjeanette@gmail.com. Follow me on social media at the link below down here somewhere. And until next time, keep on rocking and rolling dice.
Miniatures game with amazing pre-painted figures with translucent plastic and all the information printed on there, and X-Men and Marvel and DC and classic Golden Age Green Lantern with a weakness to wood. Because the 40s. Maybe even Kingdom Come pieces. I just wish such a game existed, which I could put Batman and Superman together and fight against Nick Fury. Well, such a game does exist. Let's check it out. So what's up? Welcome to the latest retro on Throat Punch Lunch. Here's the thing. Miniature gaming has always been a hobby of mine for the last 2 years. So that is a contradictory sentence, always in 2 years. But I've really been interested and I got into all of this because of this one game. Now, what I do is I travel for a living. We're all over the place, different conferences, different churches, performing as an illusionist, mentalist, you know, all that kind of stuff. So having a big game with this is not always easy. All this kind of stuff behind you be pretty tough. Plus, you might lose some stuff, which would be bad. Anyway, I love painting miniatures. Up there is Imperial Assault. I paint all that kind of stuff. But here's the deal. I wanted to find a sweet spot of things that you could play on the road and get your kick for miniatures. And that's it right here, HeroClix. You say, wait, Brian, HeroClix, isn't that a collectible game like Magic or something like that? It is, but I have never once played this collectively. Because here's the thing. You say, Brian, I like Batman. I like The Flash. I like Spider-Man. I wish there was a game like HeroScape that I could play on the road. Small. Welcome to HeroClix. There's the Flash. There's a Kingdom Come Flash. There's an 80s Colossus X-Men. There's the dice you need. There's the map you need. And that's it. You take this in this little bag right here, throw it in a book bag, throw it in something, and you have a full-scale miniatures game to play. Fully painted, nonetheless. All the dial information, all the health information, all the powers information is on each figure. Just like this. So let's take this Namor, for instance, from the Nick Fury set. Everything about this character comes on a little card to tell you what these powers do, and these colors tell you what the powers are. It's just that simple. You have this map, some dice, and there you go. You can do this in the hotel lobby, in your hotel room, all that kind of stuff. A perfect miniatures game, small on time, small on space. I recommend HeroClix. Now you say, okay, I don't want to get into the heroes, the collectible thing. What can I do? Here's the thing. Pick your favorite character, period. There's a HeroClix for it. Marvel, DC. See, Brian, I don't like either of those. I like Ninja Turtles. There's a Ninja Turtle set. I like the Lone Ranger movie from Disney with Johnny Depp. Strangely, there's a HeroClix set for that. Anything you can imagine, there's almost a HeroClix set for it, except Star Wars. That's Imperial Assault. So that's the latest retros version of a small, fast, portable miniatures game that you can play. It's so much fun. It's such a good game. It's just really, 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 really fun. You'll love it. Try it out. Pick your favorite characters out. You can get a full team of your favorite characters for under $10. Everything you need to play, and then go. Just go at it. It's a great game. For more information, follow us on The Latest Retro on YouTube. Check out our reviews, all that kind of stuff. Till next time, we'll see ya.
It's Roy Canny from Epic Gaming Night, and this is Roll with the Punches, where we talk about randomness in games and how it can make games exciting. I'm going to be finishing up my series of event cards in games and random events in games, and we're going to be taking at a game that has tons of narrative and ridiculously crazy random events that are all over the place, and that game is Tales of the Arabian Nights. Check it out. Tales of the Arabian Nights is a storytelling game for 2 to 6 players, where players have quests, take their characters all around Arabia and try to fulfill different quests, have crazy encounters, and get story and destiny points to win the game. You are reading through this crazy event book of tales, and there's all sorts of random encounters that you have with all sorts of strange creatures in exotic locations. Let's take a look at how some of those encounters work. So you encounter an Ifrit, and you roll a die to see what kind of Ifrit it is. It is a trapped Ifrit. So you look on the little matrix here, and you have different options of what you can do. There's a player board that shows you exactly the options depending on which part of the matrix that you have. In this case, you can grovel, aid, avoid, bargain, attack, or trick. Let's say we decide to aid the trapped Ifrit, and we can look in the book. It'll show us which number on the matrix, and we read from that. Far from the eyes of civilization, you hear a wealthy man who stages a horrifying show for public amusement. You arrive to the secret location to find a jinn trapped in a magical circle, and an audience throwing dung and eggs at it. Each missile calls forth a bellow of rage. You cannot let this monstrosity stand, so you declare that if the djinn is freed from this torment, you will stand an hour in its place. The crowd, already bored of their entertainment, call for you to enter the circle. Then here it asks if you have any skills, or if you have no skill, or if you have enduring hardship. If you have enduring hardship as a skill, which why wouldn't you want to endure hardship? It says you stand in the circle, ducking the worst of the missiles, letting no word escape your lips. As the crowd taunts you, after the promised hour you are released. You get 2 destiny, and you become determined. So there's all sorts of crazy stories in here. You find a djinn and you take its place in this crazy thing where they're throwing stuff at it, and it makes that, I guess, become your destiny. And if you have the specific skills, so you can get points towards the end of the game. There's all sorts of awesome stuff in this book. I love how this game helps keep 3 players involved at all times. One player has the Matrix and is helping you look stuff up on there. The other player has the book and they're reading tales from you out of it while it's your turn. And as that goes around, everybody feels like they're always engaged and doing all sorts of crazy things in the story. This book is ridiculous, the amount of variety of things that can happen. If you want to say random, there's randomness like crazy. This game is almost more of an activity than a game, just because it's so off the wall, the things that can happen. Like, you can punch a beggar and good things end up happening. People like end up cheering you on, or like maybe if you do something like you try to help them out, it's like, oh, they're actually this evil wizard and they actually like try to enslave you because of it. Like, it's completely off the wall. It's one of those games where you have to just like go into it knowing that you're just gonna try to see what happens and see what kind of story you and your friends can make as you play it. But for crazy random encounters, Tales of the Arabian Nights is definitely a great game. Thanks so much for checking out Roll with the Punches. Make sure to check out my podcast that I do with Epic Gaming Night at youtube.com/Epic Gaming Night, and we'll see you guys next time on Throat Punch Lunch.
Ahoy there, Throat Punchies! I'm Forrest from Bowers Game Corner. I'm back again for 3 reasons where I do something vaguely related to the number 3. Today I'm going to be talking about board game nights, hosting your own board game nights. I'm a huge fan of hosting game nights because playing games is awesome, but not having to leave the house to play games, that's even better. But apparently it's a pretty daunting thing to do for a lot of people, so I'm going to giving you my 3 cents on what are some things you can do to help yourself succeed. So first and foremost, how do you meet people? How do you go about getting strangers or people you know to come to your house to play games? Obviously, you ask the people where you play now. If you go to somebody else's house, or if you go to a board game cafe or a friendly local game store, just say, hey, I'm hosting on X and Y. If anybody's interested, give me your phone number, and I will text you. Now, the less obvious ones, Reddit has been a great success for me. I've had a lot of success on Reddit. You just type in R, your local town, which chances are probably has a Reddit page, and just say, hey, I'm this, this, and this, and I'm looking to host on this night pretty routinely. Chances are you're going to get people who respond to you, and boom, you got some people who might be coming to your game night. Next, you can do the same thing on Facebook, but not just spamming it out on your Facebook wall, but actually typing in your local city or a city nearby and board gaming. Chances are there's already a pre-established page with people who are interested in potentially coming to your game night. Last but not least, and this one's a little bit off the beaten path, go to Board Game Geek and you can actually look up users in your location, which is awesome, and just send out a mass message. Worst case scenario, they say no. So, scent number 2 is be upfront about everything with the people who come to your game night. First and foremost, if you don't want to play a specific style of game, be upfront about it. Say, I'm not looking to play too many party games. I'm hoping to get into more strategy games. Be upfront about the time. What time do you want to start? What time would you ideally like to end? People want to know those things. Also, attendance. So if you're going to have a low night or a very high night, be sure to say, shoot people text, be like, oh, we got a pretty big night tonight. So if you got a big group game you want to play, be sure to bring it. So that way people know that, oh, I'm expecting to walk into 8, 9, 10 people at the table. Next, should people bring food? Should people bring beer? I don't know. Apparently a lot of people stress out about this kind of thing. And if people are stressing out about coming to your house, then they might not come to your house. So be very upfront. Say, hey, you don't need to bring anything. No food, no beer. Bring a game if you want to get it played. But other than that, you don't need to bring anything, or you do need to bring anything. But be upfront about it. Last but not least, and I'm bad about this one, be upfront about dogs. A lot of people have allergies to dogs and cats, so be sure to mention that. I forget to mention people that have a 160-pound dog. Scent number 3 is make it easy to come back to your game night. Be flexible. You may not want to play a game, but if other people want to play the game, be flexible, because if they have a good time, hint, they're going to come back to your place. Also, comfy chairs. Nobody wants to sit on a wooden chair for 2, 3, 4 hours. Now, I know that's not always possible and feasible, but if you can, comfy chairs, or if someone in particular needs a specific chair or likes a specific chair, try to accommodate that. Also, this one is huge. Read the rule booklets in advance. Nothing is worse than sitting there as someone else is reading a rule booklet trying to learn a game so they can teach you a game. That's when people start getting on their phone, that's when people start making jokes, and that's when things start to go downhill. So read rule booklets in advance. Yes, to run a game night, you're going to have to do some homework. Last but not least, and this is a huge one, if at all possible, and you know what game you're going to play, set up the game. Have the coins already set up. Have everything ready to go. There are few feelings better at a game night than just sitting downstairs and seeing this big sprawling board with everything set up, your money all set up, and someone ready to go, ready to teach you the rules. That, in my opinion, is how you can run a successful game night. So that was 3 reasons, or 3 something or other, on how I think you can run a successful game night. If you're enjoying this segment and you want me to spur off and do different other things, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And as always, back to more throat punching goodness.
I'm Liz Davidson with BeyondSolitaire.net, and this is the first ever episode of Solo Thrash, Amerithrash gaming for people who like to play alone sometimes. Do you ever crave an Amerithrash experience, but find that you're short on time and perhaps friends? Do you ever want a thematic gaming adventure, but also want to enjoy some of your precious alone time? Well, I have a possible solution for you, and that's Hostage Negotiator from Van Ryder Games. This game is probably the most thematic fun that you can have in 30 minutes or less. The game is exactly what it sounds like. You play as a hostage negotiator who is trying to convince an abductor to release hostages. The goal of the game is to save at least half of the hostages, although, we're hoping to save some more than that, and to prevent the abductor from escaping. The chaotic experience of trying to talk down a madman or a madwoman comes from 2 elements in the game. One, the dice that you roll as you're attempting to have a successful conversation with your abductor, and a terror deck that acts both as a timer and as a set of obstacles in your path to victory. One of the things I most like about Hostage Negotiator is its variability. The original game comes with 3 different abductors, each of whom has slightly different mechanics according to the person's personality and situation. Probably my favorite abductor in the original box is Donna Scarborough. She is an enraged teacher who has failed to get tenure at her school, although I'm not sure why she's so unhappy. She's only got 12 kids in her class. But one thing that makes her particularly interesting as an abductor is that depending on how you roll your dice, she may feel a twinge of conscience and release a student, or maybe, little Johnny has to go to the bathroom a few too many times and now he's gone. Aside from the original boxed game, you can also purchase separate abductor packs, which offer different abductors who have different mechanics to keep the game even more fresh and interesting. For example, one of the abductor packs has an abductor whose story is so sympathetic that his hostages start to get Stockholm Syndrome, and it makes it even more difficult for you to rescue them. There's another pack where there are actually 2 negotiators who are brothers, and you have to change your strategy depending on which brother you happen to be talking to at the time. If you want to have a short, solo gaming experience that is still tense and highly thematic, I highly recommend Hostage Negotiator from Van Ryder Games. And if you do pick up the game and find that you like it, I have further good news for you, which is that recently the standalone sequel to the game was successfully funded on Kickstarter, and it should become available in the spring. So get ready to save some lives, and thanks for watching Solo Thrash.
Hey again everyone, Georgie here from Beards and Board Games, and I'm back with another episode, and today it's the future. And I'm not so much talking about a board game as I am today as a board game accessory, or more role-playing accessory, and that is Polyhero Dice. Okay, so here's a set of the dice here. This is the Steel Grey and Molten Copper set. You'll see you've got the 8-sided mace here. There's 2 10-sided gauntlets. A 20-sided shield, 6-sided sword, 4-sided dagger, and a 12-sided helmet. Obviously, They're just made of like a thick plastic, sort of acrylic-y, but they feel good, and they've got a nice weight to them. And obviously being the warrior set, hence the maces and shields and helmets. I've also got another colour here, which is the black and goblin green, which I think is a nicer colour, to be honest. Where are we? Here we go. And that's those ones there. But they do come in many, many other colours, and with every set seems to come some extra colours too, so that is these sets of dice. Now, like I said, the set that I just showed you was the warrior set. They've recently just done their Kickstarter for their mage set / wizard set, I believe they've called it, and they've got many, many more to come with a lot of cool ideas, so honestly, check them out. They're going to be a big thing in the future, I would say, in regards to board game accessories, dice, things like that. Guys, I hope you've had an awesome lunch, and I'll be back next time with The Past.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Jedi Mind Games. My name's Kodai, and today, instead of talking about strategy, I'm going to talk about how do you bring your list to a tournament or to your local gaming shop. See, everyone's different and it's personalized, which is kind of cool, and I'm a man of personalization. So normally I bring like a plain old box, so this is what I used to carry my Imperial Assault in, and this is my X-Wing one. I normally carry 2 lists in here, and recently I've switched over to this for Imperial Assault. So, let's get to the table and I'll show you what's in my box. So what we have here is my Imperial Assault Squad Carrier, and I purchased this from Gamer Plastic on Etsy.com. It holds a number of units. It holds a command deck and a large base figure like the Wampa over here, and it also holds the deployment cards. What I like about this is it holds my figures nice and secure and also leaves room for the cards as well. It's a pretty good solution, and I get to carry this from table to table and makes my squad that much easier to handle. Now with this, I also carry with me some tokens. So I have this little token box, and these are some damage and condition tokens, some crates as well. I'm still trying to figure out how to carry the other little things, but that'll come with time. This is my older solution. This is a plain old box that I used to have, and I used to put all my models up here, and I used dice for health, and here's some of the extra dice that I would be using. Next up, here I have my X-Wing solution. So it's the same exact plain old box. And inside it's a little bit messier, but it holds 2 lists, which is pretty cool. Here are the range and template rulers. Got these over here. I got my dice, I have my templates, and these are the Imperial ships I showed you guys earlier. Here are some of the cards that I use for the upgrades. The actual cards, the ship cards themselves, are right here. And then I have another 3D printed solution over here. And this holds the damage deck, some target locks, and all the other essentials that I would need. Now I like this solution because I have a list ready to go. So at any moment I could just kind of pull out some ships like this, and they would be ready to go. Now granted, if I'm carrying a bigger base like this one, I'm going to have to assemble it, right? But that's okay. I like this solution. It's been working for me for quite a while, and the only problem I have with it is going from table to table, because I'll be putting these things back in their slots, and sometimes that gets a little cumbersome, so it's not the most efficient way to do it. I've been trying to look for an X-Wing ship holder, which is a little bit harder to come by because I'm kind of picky. But these are my solutions. And that's how I like to carry my stuff to the tournaments. So if you guys have a cool storage solution, I'd love to see them in the comments below. If you want to find out more about Board Game Essentials, visit youtube.com/BoardGameEssentials. And with that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your lunch. All right, take care now.
Hi everybody, welcome to Miniatures World. This week we're going to be talking about a game that I was quite shocked by it. Now, I saw Lance talk about it a bit, but I was kind of like, okay, yeah, whatever. Just another game, and it looked very interesting. But let me tell you something. Warquest has some of the coolest miniatures I've seen in a long time from a company other than Games Workshop. So why don't we take a good look at some of these? And you can see now, one of the things I really noticed about these guys is how you're able to tell their attack and their defense. They have little bumps here, so you don't have to carry a card around. The attack is in the front, and I believe the defense is in the back. But the sculpts are very, very, very detailed and really, really beautiful. These dwarves remind me of some old school Games Workshop dwarves. I mean, they are just spot on, and you get a good amount of stuff here. The elves, again, just absolutely very detailed, and I believe that this video will be coming out a week after I do the painting on the Dice Tower, so you guys will get to check this out as I paint it, because I am going to be painting these up for a live playthrough with my kids. But these are just some very solid, not too much bendiness in the plastic, a good solid plastic, and everything that you really want as far as a miniature game, because let's face it, with 95 miniatures, this is a miniature games. So why don't we head up top a bit and get my final thoughts. Warquest has some beautiful miniatures, and it's very hard to find really, really great miniatures. A lot of times they're there just to accentuate a board game, but these really stand out and really, really bring out life in this board game, and I really, really like what they did. I got to give these miniatures a 9 out of 10. Of course, they're not GW quality, but they are just very well done. No flashing. Great product. I suggest if you have the means to go get this game, go check it out. Until next time, from Miniature World, I'm Rob Orn, and we'll see you soon.
Hello again, it's your friend the Board Game Renegade here, and I am back in full effect in this episode of Throat Punch Lunch. And today I will be talking about a game that has a theme that people say is overused, and that is the zombie theme. Now, sure, there are a lot of games with the zombie theme out there, but I would never say that a theme is overused, because I think the more the merrier. So with that being said, the game I'm going to be talking about is Last Night on Earth. The reason why I wanted to talk about this game is because there are a lot of zombie games, and there are some games that get more love than others. Games like Dead of Winter or Zombicide get a lot of love, especially these days, and games like this that I believe are great kind of fly under the radar a little bit. And what I like about the theme on this game is that not only is it a zombie game, but it is campy, and it's meant to be campy like 90s or 80s zombie movies, so I like that a lot. Anyway, enjoy. This is Woodinvale, your typical American suburb. One night, a dark fog rolled over town, and that fog brought the dead back to life. And now it's up to a band of unlikely heroes to team up and try to survive. The always tough high school quarterback, Johnny. Sheriff Anderson that always carries his revolver. The fast-running high school track star Billy, who also happens to be the sheriff's son. Sally, the high school sweetheart that doesn't use guns, unless it's a revolver. I guess she likes cowboys. Yeehaw! Father Joseph that doesn't use guns. Jake Cartwright the drifter, who is good at searching. The farmer's daughter Jenny, who magically heals when she stays put. And Becky, the nurse, who is proficient at healing wounds. To make it through the night, the heroes must complete one of many objectives, such as defending the manor house. Don't let them in! Burning out zombie spawning pits. Saving townfolk. Come with me, son. Killing the zombies off. Bang, 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 bang! Or by escaping the town on this rusty old truck. Vroom! To complete their objectives, the heroes must move around Woodinvale and enter locations to search for items that may help them, such as keys, fire axes, and revolvers. However, that would not be an easy task because throughout the town, there are several pits that spawn zombies. Yeah. To avoid being zombie snacks, the heroes can do anything at their disposal to survive, like run away, shoot and kill the zombies, kill the zombies using melee weapons. Get out of my way, dude! Sometimes they will only be able to temporarily fend off the zombies. Ew, you're gross. But no matter how well they fight back the zombie horde, not all of the survivors will live. And even worse than being killed is being bitten by one of the zombies. Because if you are, you will become one of them. I'm so glad I'm alone in this house. Oh, what's happening to me? Who will survive the zombie apocalypse? Only time will tell. We made it, son. Dad, I'm not feeling well. No! 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 So that is Last Night on Earth, and the game even comes with a soundtrack that sounds exactly like one of those campy zombie movie soundtracks, and I love it. Do you like zombie games? And if so, what is your favorite zombie game? Put it down in the comments below. I would love to know. And also check out my own YouTube channel, The Board Game Renegade. Don't forget to subscribe. I also have a website, boardgamerenegade.com. Check that out, even though I don't update it as often as I should. And I'm glad to be back here. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, peace out.
So that is episode 9 of Throat Punch Lunch. Well, I want to give a special shout out to Brian and Liz, my brand new contributors. I want to thank you for them sticking their neck out like that, because, you know, it is kind of scary sometimes. You don't know what's going to happen. So give them some positive feedback on their segments. I want to thank all of my core contributors that have been already putting in all of their segments and all that kind of stuff. I really do appreciate all the hard work that you guys are doing. So I certainly hope that you guys that are watching are appreciating it as well and enjoying it as much as I am. Next time when we come back, Canvas will be back, and I think if I can get everything together, Accessorize will also be back next episode as well, so be looking for those. And until then, we will see you guys on the flip side. Take care.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.